We are back at my home trails here at Waukee Park. After a few months on the coil shock, I decided to try the air shock again. This is going to be my first run down Cinderella, back to air after several months. Now that I've gotten used to the coil, it felt completely normal. The question is, how would it feel going back to air? And that's what we're going to answer today. Can't say I noticed the lighter weight climbing up here. 1 pound really isn't that much of a difference, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Yeah, pretty good. You know, maybe not the ultimate small bump as the coil shock, but I guess it's not surprising. It's pretty hard not to get this bike to feel composed, right? The rock garden. Right down the middle of those braking bumps. All right, so how does it feel climbing going back to an air shock? I kind of expected it to be way better, but I would say it's almost a tie. If I were to nitpick, a little more suppleness may increase traction a little bit. Man, it's pretty close. I think with the coil shock, because it's a little more supple, I tend to add a little bit more low speed compression, whereas on the air shock, I kind of back it out. So the end result's the same. If I was gonna do, I don't know, 5,000 foot climb right now, yeah, I'd probably go air. A little bit stiffer in the platform. That pound weight difference on shorter rides probably won't matter, but on a long ride like that, it could add up. Key is good exit speed here. Oop, missed that. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Man, air's still really good. Takes just a little more concentration to keep the bike tracking, but it's super fun. You can't go wrong either way. Air shocks have gotten so much better, so have coil shocks. Just get out and have fun. I think that's the bottom line. Man, I'm really surprised at how good this air shock feels. I think you know what it comes down to, and I've given this a lot of thought. There's a full spectrum of riding, anything from, you know, just riding along to like 6 foot drops to flat. And there's no suspension that will be perfect all the way across that board. And so what you have to think about is where you spend most of your time and what you value in your ride. If you, like I said, most of the time your wheels are on the ground, you love that out of control, you want that additional braking traction, then a coil is a way to go, because that's where you're going to notice the additional benefits of the coil shock. But if you're the kind of rider that just does nothing but drops most of the time, then you'll probably appreciate the air a little bit more, because there's a little bit softer ramp up towards the end of the stroke. You really have to consider where you are in that spectrum, where you want the suspension to be better at, and then choose between coil and air based on that. And just know that there's no suspension that's going to be 100% better across the board. It's all about where and how you ride. One other thing to consider is your bike. If it has kind of a linear leverage ratio, then a coil shock might not be the best for you. But again, if you're not in that last 25% of the end of the stroke anyway, you can still benefit from a lot of what the coil shock will give you. Just know that it's not going to give you the bottom out resistance and the tunability of that bottom out resistance as you can get with an air shock. So it's like I said, everything is a give and take, so keep that in mind. I think I'm gonna head back gonna keep this air shock on for a little bit longer, maybe a month or so, and then go back to coil. Yeah, guys, thanks for riding along with me today. And remember, those trails don't get easier, you get better. We'll see you on the next one. Finally got rid of that rear brake rattle on these Shimano brakes. Maybe include that in a future tip video.